Hey, beautiful soul. You're listening to the Rising into Mindful Motherhood podcast, your weekly dose of fertility wisdom. I'm your host, Dr. Katie Wood. I'm a barefoot mama bear, pharmacist, and integrative fertility coach. This is your go-to podcast for all things to naturally nourish your fertility, embody womb healing, and reclaim your feminine power to accelerate your path to pregnancy. My expert guests and I will be having intentional conversations to discuss the many facets of a thriving, fertile foundation, natural wellness, and how we grow and transform as women on our journey to motherhood. So let's dive in, shall we? Hello and welcome to Rising into Mindful Motherhood. I'm super excited to finally be able to catch up with all of you since my vacation. So pretty much I came back from a 2-week vacation with my husband and we ended up getting sick for like a week. So I wanted to launch this episode last week, but my voice just could not do it. So I'm super excited to just share a lot of unexpected pieces of wisdom and gratitude that I experienced on my 2-week vacation. So, yeah, my husband and I went to Fiji for our honeymoon 9 years ago, this past June, and we had booked a return package. So, this year we got to go back to where we went on our honeymoon, and it was actually so surreal. Like everything was very similar and so much the same and brought us back to our honeymoon. But then things were just so different as well. Like I mean, gosh, that was back in 2015. So we were still living very much inside of the conditioning and programming from how we were raised and things like that. And just in the retail pharmacy space, newly out of college, newlyweds, our priorities were different. We have changed and evolved so much as individuals and as a couple. So I also feel like I really just got to appreciate some of the things in such a different light and perspective. I mean, we had a beautiful time on our honeymoon and we were so appreciative of the amazing staff and just being taken care of. But yeah, this time it definitely had a completely different level of gratitude, and it was just extremely surreal and just a beautiful experience. And so we also extended our little vacation. We went to New Zealand for a few days, and that was mind-blowing. Just the way that they live there compared to America. I mean, granted, it is a very small, really like an island compared to America. America is ginormous compared to New Zealand. New Zealand is like the size of California or something. But it was just an amazing experience. So I think one thing that I really learned is we get so caught up in our own perceived identities. So whether you are someone in the season of trying to get pregnant, you almost begin to start identifying with that. That is your sole purpose. That is your main focus in life, is I'm trying to get pregnant. Well, for me, a large part of my identity is being a mother. I am a mother, taking care of others sometimes before I'm able to take care of myself. So it was really nice to unplug from the day-to-day activities and just unplug from that identity too, that we can unconsciously hold on to. And to also, get back in touch with yourself, with your partner, to nourish and be one with your inner child. One of the things that we did in New Zealand was we visited the Hobbiton movie set. So if you've seen Lord of the Rings or any of the Hobbiton movies, it was just like all the little houses that the hobbits live in. And I'm not super familiar with the movies, but The movie set was just so magical. And even as an adult, like you cannot help but engage your imagination. And one of the newer parts of the movie set is they actually allow you to go in one of the houses. Oh my goodness. Like that was literally like my childhood dream was to be like underground in this cool little cozy house. It just had all of the rooms that you could ever think of. You could literally live in there. Like they even had a real fireplace and just the detail that they included. So like my inner child was absolutely beaming, beaming. So that was just a really fun experience because I think sometimes we can take life a little bit too seriously. So if you feel like you're in this season in your fertility journey where you're taking yourself too seriously, your relationship, getting pregnant, just life in general, if you're feeling disconnected from yourself, from your partner, think of how can you rekindle that? It doesn't have to be a 2-week vacation on the other side of the world. It could be a 2-day weekend getaway. Maybe start exploring what are some things that are near where you live that you could do as a couple, or maybe even do solo if that feels nourishing to your body right now as well. So that was one of the lessons that I'm just super grateful to have the awareness around, just giving yourself, allowing yourself that pause, right? And then another just huge revelation was I was getting my nails done on the island we were staying at in Fiji. It's a private island. It's called Turtle Island. You should definitely check it out. It's just stunning and absolutely amazing. And the woman and I, we were having a conversation together, and I was telling her how I'm a fertility coach and I help women and couples who are struggling to get pregnant. And a lot of the staff that work on the island, they're from around surrounding villages. So not even from the main island, from surrounding villages. And she had said to me, like me. So she is also struggling to get pregnant. And so we were just talking about how I support women and couples because it was such like a new idea for her and for a lot of the people that ended up coming up to me on the island. Like, you help women get pregnant. It was just such a new thought and idea. Like, how do you do that type thing? And so one thing that's kind of wild is the staff that work on the island, they work for 6 weeks on the island, and then they like go back home for a week. I mean, I'm sure that could vary in terms of timing, but that's basically what everyone was telling me. So I was explaining to her, like, timing could be a huge issue for you if you are only able to be intimate with your partner during that 1 week off. You know what I mean? If you think about it, that's like a 7-week period, 6 weeks on, 1 week off. And you look at that in the span of a year, how many times are you actually even in your fertile window, if at all? So timing is a huge piece. So we're really talking about that. And then it also kind of comes back to body literacy, really understanding your cycle, your menstrual cycle. You can't get pregnant every day of your cycle. There's a very unique window in which a woman can conceive. So we talked about that. And then also just things that can be pro-fertility, anti-fertility. And it just seems like a lot of very new concepts to her. So I feel like sometimes we can take it for granted what we have access to in the States. We basically have knowledge at our fingertips, even just the knowledge that you can access on Instagram. I mean, given that you're following the right people who are sharing reliable advice and things like that. But knowledge at your fingertips and just the opportunity to be able to work with professionals to increase your chances of conceiving. I had asked her if that was something, maybe they had someone at the village that could help with that, and she really kind of said no. So I literally had women and men of the staff on this island coming up to me and asking me, like, I heard that you help women get pregnant. How do you do that? As if I'm like a magician or something like that. It was cool and amazing, but it really also just opened my eyes up to, different areas of the world. They just don't have the same access that we have in America, at least. I can't speak for other countries because I don't live in other countries, but at least I can speak for America. So I think wherever you are in your journey, if it's been a struggle for months, for years, just wherever you are, just holding space in a moment for gratitude for anyone you have that has been supportive on your journey, whether you're fortunate enough to have a provider that is knowledgeable and supportive, maybe a friend, a family member, a coach, and then just holding that gratitude for having access to knowledge at your fingertips and the ability to empower yourself with knowledge. And it has really inspired me. I am toying with the idea of emailing the owner of the island. His father, I don't know that I can say he found the island. I'm sure someone found the island before him, but he basically came across the island and then created this just beautiful oasis for people to come and visit. And he is very much actively involved with the surrounding villages, helping them, supporting them. So I have considered even reaching out to his son, who's now in charge of the island, and asking, like, hey, a lot of the staff had a lot of interest in how I support women and couples in getting pregnant. Is that something that you think could be helpful for them? I don't know what the, I don't like this word, but I'm just going to use it for lack of a better word, what the infertility rate is in Fiji. I would have to look that up. And then also when you have people living in villages, numbers probably aren't going to be accurately recorded anyways, but people were curious. And to me, I think you would only be curious about it if maybe it was an issue, right? If people were having trouble conceiving. So, and then just like another piece of gratitude that I got from a lot of my conversations with the staff is a lot of them are parents and they work away from home, away from their family for 6 weeks. And then they get to go home for 7 or 10 days. And while they're gone, a lot of times it's their parents or maybe an aunt or a family member who is taking care of their children. So again, being grateful that we have so many opportunities here in America. Yes, I know a lot of us work long days, 5 days or more a week, and we barely see our children, even though we live in the same house, but we're not away from them for 6 weeks on end. And I think it's also a beautiful reminder that it takes a village, right? You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to suffer in silence and isolation on your fertility journey and also in parenthood as well. If you don't have family or parents nearby that can help you, maybe there's some friends, maybe there's a church or some sort of community group that you could connect with and reach out to. None of us should ever have to go through any of this alone. So, yeah, I Just had so many aha moments when I was on the island, and it was just a beautiful, serene experience. And so grateful to be able to come back and share it with you. And thank you so much for listening. And just know that you don't have to do this alone. Please reach out to me if you're trying to get pregnant and it's not happening. I can help you. I can help guide you in the best direction that is going to be most supportive and nourishing for you, your partner, your dreams, whatever is in alignment for you. I am so thankful and grateful to have you here. Share this episode with your friends, your family, anyone who could use just a little reminder of how we can be thankful for the things that we have. So thank you so much. I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rising into Mindful Motherhood podcast. If this episode resonated with you or gave you an aha moment, stop what you're doing right now and write a review. This simple act of kindness helps me get this podcast out to connect with as many women as I possibly can. I also have a special offer. If you send me a screenshot of your review, I will take $250 off one of my premium coaching containers. Let me know what resonated with you the most and why. So connect with me in my free Facebook community or tag me on Instagram. You'll find both listed below. Thanks again from the bottom of my heart for tuning in to this episode, and I'll see you next time.